Hi everyone, how you going? Marlon here from Web Design Profits, and I want to give you a tip today. I sell with lots of clients. I sell websites and these clients are not in my local area. They are either across the state or they're interstate, across the country, and about 70 or 80% of my clients are actually international. I live in Australia, and they live in the United States or Europe, and so I have to have a secret weapon that actually helps me win trust very quickly and be able to get them to commit to me, to someone who lives in, across the country or interstate. And so the tool that I use is Zoom. So when I say Zoom now, it doesn't matter whether it's Google Hangouts, it doesn't matter whether it's GoToWebinar or some other platform. The reason I love Zoom and why it works so well for me is because it integrates with Google Calendar. So you're able to book an appointment, click a button, and it sets up the whole Zoom meeting for you. Also, I use Calendly, and it integrates really well with Calendly. If someone books an appointment, then a Zoom meeting's created and added to that appointment. So that's all really important for me to make it really smooth. But the reality is, to sell to someone who is across the country or international, you've got to build a lot of trust. And the best way of doing it is through a video call. The best way really to sell is when you sit next to them, or you go to a coffee shop, or you go to their boardroom, or they come to your boardroom in your company. But if you don't have that and they live a long way away, the next best thing is video. And can I just say that it has been amazing for me using Zoom calls. I have not had really a decrease in my conversion rate. My conversion rate is not based on where they live. It's based on how good I am at actually converting them. So I think the fact that I'm not in the same location or even the same country has zero effect on my conversion rate. It's a pretty big statement to make. But there's a way I do it. So my initial call is always on the phone. It's always a phone call, whether it's interstate or international. And the reason for that is I don't want to complicate it. I don't want to make it hard for them to get on a call with me. If it was a Zoom call, a lot of people have to actually download Zoom and they have to figure out how to click it on the calendar. And actually, it's a bit of a showstopper. And so your show up rate to initial appointments of people who have booked an appointment with you, especially if they've come off social media or paid advertising, that will plummet. I really believe it will plummet. I haven't tested it because I don't want to test it. So all I do is I just get a phone call and I call them on the phone. And that's a 15 to 30 minute chat. And in that meeting, I have to create credibility. Okay, I have to really set myself apart as someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's an expert, and someone that they can trust. Okay, and then at the end of that meeting, my job in that meeting is to sell my second meeting. And that meeting I call a delivery meeting. And that meeting is where I present the solution, I present the price, but I do it over Zoom. So we share screens and they get to know me. So a lot of you are probably thinking, well, I don't want to go on Zoom because it's awkward and my background is really bad wherever I am and it's unprofessional. It doesn't matter because with Zoom you can actually put a false background. It's like a green screen and you can put any background you like and it's getting better and better and it's good enough. So that's what I would recommend you do if you're worried. If you're worried about actually being on Zoom, look, it's no different to actually being in a meeting with someone in a coffee shop. So you shouldn't have a problem with that. Otherwise, you're going to struggle with sales. So actually having a Zoom call shouldn't be too threatening for you, but the credibility and trust it builds is amazing. Now, you think about this. A lot of my prospects are in another country, and they know I'm not in the country that they are in. And so it's hard for people to pay a big chunk of money to someone in another country where really it can be really hard, if anything goes wrong, to get that money back. But in a Zoom call, I'm able to build enough trust, enough credibility, enough, to show my expertise that they are willing to take that next step. And I could never do it if it was just a phone call. I don't think I could do it. So Zoom is really, really important in that. And so the other thing is if you are selling websites or you're a consultant and you're selling just to your local community, I would say that you're really limiting yourself. You really want to go at least across the state, at least across your country. For some of you who will be like me, it's international. And so it really opens up your prospects. And think about this, if you have a niche, and just say you work with plumbers, like not tradespeople, just plumbers. Like if you're just working in your country, there's only X amount of plumbers. So your niche is relatively small. But if you can add a separate country, it gets bigger. And another country, it gets even bigger. So you can truly be the world's best web designer for plumbers, and you can have a huge pool of prospects. And that's a good way to grow your web design business or your consulting business. So I want to encourage you to add Zoom to your repertoire. Make Zoom part of your sales process. It has been good to me. It has really helped me grow my business, and it's a key integral part, especially in this day and age. Now, can I just say, the crisis we've had in 2020 has really conditioned people to actually use Zoom. And so it's actually easier now more than ever. So integrate it in. And what it means is now you can market outside of your local community, outside of your state. And think about that. As a business person, you want more opportunity, not less opportunity. Now, some of you are doing really well in your local community. That's great. Keep going for it. But most of you, having more of a pool that you can work with will actually help you be more successful in the long term. So that's my tip for the day. Use Zoom in your sales process. Don't use it for your first call because that'll reduce your show up rate, but use it for your second call. Once you've built trust and they're really keen to speak to you, they'll install Zoom, they'll get on, they'll see you, they'll trust you more, they'll like you and all those idiosyncrasies that you have and what makes you you. They'll either love it and some people will hate it, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, so have a great day and I look forward to speaking to you soon.